But you guys made a statement about the pay today, and it said, pay us what you owe us on the shirts. It's going to get a lot of attention.
You know, the players of what is building this brand and this league. There is no league without the players.
It was supposed to be a celebration. Team Clark versus Team Collier. A sold-out arena, cameras flashing, fans buzzing. But moments before tip-off, something unexpected happened. Every player walked out wearing shirts that read one thing: pay us what you owe us. No logos, no distractions, just a message.
But you guys made a statement about the pay today, and it said, pay us what you owe us on the shirts. It's going to get a lot of attention. If you could just say in the simplest form to those who are just getting aware of this now, what do you mean by what you owe us?
You know, the players of what is building this brand and this league. There is no league without the players. And, you know, the past, present, the ones coming up, they're the ones that have put in the blood, sweat, and tears for the new money that's coming in. And so we feel like we are owed a piece of that pie that we helped to create. So that's basically what that is.
And instantly the internet exploded. Was this coordinated? Was it sanctioned? Could players actually be punished for this? Suddenly, what was meant to be a night of unity turned into one of protest. And the message was clear. The WNBA has had enough. This wasn't just about pay. It wasn't just about basketball. This protest was about respect, and it played out on the biggest stage of the season. The WNBA All-Star Game is supposed to be a feel-good moment. Star players, flashy plays, fans from around the country all coming together to celebrate the best the league has to offer. But this year, the players flipped the script. When both Team Clark and Team Collier took the court during warm-ups wearing shirts that read, pay us what you owe us, it stopped everyone in their tracks. Fans, commentators, even league officials. And make no mistake, this wasn't a marketing stunt. This was player-led, organized quietly, worn proudly. No official league approval, no sponsor involvement, just raw, unfiltered truth. That's what made it powerful and risky. See, the WNBA operates under a collective bargaining agreement, CBA, that includes clauses about professionalism, conduct, and unauthorized statements during league events. By wearing those shirts, especially in a televised, league-sanctioned event, players knowingly stepped into a gray area. Fines, possible. Suspensions, not off the table. Backlash, already bubbling in certain corners of social media. But here's the thing, they did it anyway. Because this wasn't just a protest. It was a unified stand by every all-star in that arena. A message not just to the league, but to the world. You can't keep marketing our image without investing in our worth. It's rare to see this level of solidarity in professional sports. Rarer still in women's sports, where athletes are often told to be grateful just to be seen. And yet, there they were, not just seen, but heard. With one short sentence across their chests, they reignited a national conversation that the league has been dodging for years. This was a moment, and if the league dares to punish them for it, it may turn into a movement. So, what exactly are these women asking for? Let's get one thing clear. This isn't about trying to make the same money as LeBron James or Steph Curry. It's about equity, fair share, and respect for value. The average salary in the WNBA sits around $130,000 per year. That might sound like a solid paycheck until you compare it to the NBA, where the average salary is over $9 million. Not the top stars, not the MVPs, the average. Let that sink in. But here's what people often miss. WNBA players aren't demanding equal salaries. They're asking for equal treatment in terms of revenue sharing. That means if we help generate money for the league, we deserve a fair percentage of it. In the NBA, players receive roughly 50% of league-generated revenue. In the WNBA, that number is estimated to be around 10 to 20%. That's not just a small difference. It's a system that undervalues its own product. And this isn't about profitability either. The NBA wasn't always profitable in its early decades. It was built through investment, marketing, and faith in its potential. The WNBA, by contrast, is often told to wait your turn or be patient, even though it's already growing faster in viewership and engagement than many men's sports ever did in their infancy. And the gap gets wider when you look at endorsement deals, prize money, and even facilities. NBA players fly charter. WNBA players often fly commercial, until recently when the backlash got too loud to ignore. One star, Nafisa Collier, Once revealed she had to take a commercial flight just weeks after giving birth. Others have talked about arriving late to games because of airport delays. Meanwhile, their NBA counterparts are sleeping on luxury planes with built-in recovery gear. Let's not forget performance incentives. A WNBA player can win MVP and get a bonus of just $15,000. That's less than a week's salary for most NBA benchwarmers. So when players wear shirts that say, "Pay us what you owe us," they're not crying out for luxury. They're demanding to be treated as professionals, as assets, as the backbone of a league that profits off their talent, hustle, and personal brands. Because here's the truth, the WNBA doesn't exist without these women. They are the product. They are the marketing. They are the show. And all they're asking is, if we're making the money happen, why aren't we seeing it? On paper, being a professional athlete sounds like a dream job. Endorsements, fame, travel, and money. But for many WNBA players, the reality is far from glamorous. In fact, it's exhausting, mentally, physically, financially. Because when the WNBA season ends, the hustle doesn't. For most players, it's not time to rest or recharge. It's time to pack up and head overseas, to Russia, to Turkey, to China, anywhere they can earn a real paycheck. And not just fringe players, superstars. Brittany Griner, Breanna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, all of them have played internationally just to make ends meet. That's right. Even the best players in the league, the faces of the WNBA, have to take second jobs overseas during the offseason because WNBA salaries alone aren't enough. Let's take Diana Taurasi, for example. She once skipped an entire WNBA season because her Russian team offered her more money to rest than the WNBA could afford to pay her for playing. Let that sink in. A player had to choose rest over playing in her own league. Not for health, but for financial survival. And then there's Brittany Griner, a name the world knows now not just for her dominance on the court, but for her harrowing detainment in Russia. She was arrested in 2022 for carrying cannabis oil in her luggage, an offense that led to months of captivity and became a geopolitical incident. Why was she there in the first place? Because she needed the money. Griner made nearly 4 times more playing for UMMC Ekaterinburg in Russia than she did in the WNBA. 4 times more. That's not just unsustainable, it's dangerous. And it's not just about salary, it's about wellness too. Playing in 2 leagues, across continents, all year long puts unbelievable strain on the body. WNBA players don't get the same resources for recovery, training, or travel. While NBA players fly private and rest on built-in massage chairs, WNBA players often sprint from TSA lines to back-to-back games, sleep-deprived and under-supported. Some teams don't even have full-time athletic trainers or access to elite medical facilities. Imagine being a professional athlete, one of the best in the world, and still having to fight for basic care. And the league's solution? Be patient. Change takes time. But how long should these women have to wait? How long before the cost of playing in the WNBA outweighs the reward? Because let's be real, no one should have to risk injury, burnout, or political imprisonment just to earn what their talent deserves, especially not on the same court where the league posts inspirational slogans about empowerment and equality. So when players protest, it's not just about money, it's about the system, the grind, the reality that being great isn't enough if the league still treats you like a side act. Let's talk about the disconnect. Because if you only watched the commercials, you'd think WNBA players are the most supported athletes on earth. They're featured in campaigns about equity, female empowerment, and breaking barriers. They're invited to red carpets, shouted out during award shows, and called role models by presidents and CEOs. Brands like Nike, Google, AT&T, and Adidas proudly partner with the league, plastering slogans like "She's Got Next" or "Watch Her Work" on billboards across the country. But the moment these players stop being inspirational and start being confrontational, that's when things get quiet. Because let's be honest, corporate support is often conditional. It's there when the message is safe, when it's palatable, when it makes people feel good without making them uncomfortable. But once players demand real change, actual policy shifts, higher revenue shares, better travel accommodations, guaranteed protections, that support gets complicated. The same brands that post hashtags on Women's History Month suddenly go radio silent when players wear shirts that say, "Pay us what you owe us." The same league that built marketing campaigns around player voices is now in a position to decide whether those same voices violated policy. It's a double standard as old as sports itself. Celebrate them when they smile, punish them when they speak. Even fans fall into this trap. Some viewers love the energy, the talent, the highlight reels, but the second a player uses her platform for protest, it's stick to basketball. Funny how that phrase never seems to apply to male athletes doing jersey swaps, social commentary, or even building entire media brands. And then there's the elephant in the room, image. The WNBA has long struggled with how to market its players, often pushing a narrow, safe version of femininity. The league highlights players who fit a certain mold, polished, media-friendly, non-controversial. But many of today's stars don't want to play by those rules. They're bold, they're outspoken, they're tatted up, rocking braids, calling out injustice, and refusing to shrink themselves to be more marketable. And guess what? That's exactly why people love them. They're real, they're raw, they're tired of being tokens in campaigns that don't back them when it counts. So, this protest at the All-Star Game? It was as much a message to the league's front office as it was to its sponsors. If you want to use our stories, our likeness, and our labor, then stand with us when it matters. Because it's not enough to say you support women in sports. You have to prove it, with actions, with policy, with paychecks. Otherwise, all those billboards and hashtags, they're just decoration. Now comes the part the league can't script. Because this protest, this bold, unified message from the All-Star players, can't be walked back. The shirts have been worn. The message has been broadcast. The world has seen it. So the question is simple. What does the WNBA do next? Behind closed doors, league officials are likely scrambling. Do they punish the players for breaching uniform policy or unauthorized messaging? Do they stay silent, hoping the moment fades away as the news cycle moves on? Or do they finally face the conversation head-on and recognize this protest not as an act of rebellion, but as a plea for progress? Because here's the truth. If the WNBA chooses to discipline these players, they won't just be cracking down on individuals. They'll be silencing every voice that helped grow this league from the ground up. Voices that showed up when the arenas were half full. Voices that rallied through pandemic bubbles, social justice campaigns, and global tours just to keep the league alive. And if they're punished now, it sends a chilling message. You can speak, but only when we say it's safe. But let's flip it. What if the league does the opposite? What if, instead of punishing players, the WNBA embraces this moment as a turning point? A moment to say, we hear you, we see the numbers, and we're ready to talk. Because it's not just about pay. It's about modernizing the league, fixing the travel conditions, creating revenue-sharing models that reflect what players bring to the table, committing to actual investment, not just inspirational tweets during Women's Month. The ball is in the league's court now, and whatever they do or don't do will have lasting consequences. Meanwhile, fans are watching closely, sponsors are listening, and NBA stars, media voices, and former players are beginning to speak up in support. This is bigger than basketball. It's about the future of women's sports, and whether the WNBA becomes a model for change or an example of how even leagues built on empowerment can fall into the same old power dynamics. Because the players have done their part. They took the risk. They used their platform. They made headlines for all the right reasons. And now the pressure shifts to the people in charge. The WNBA can either evolve or alienate the very stars that made this league worth watching in the first place. The next move is theirs. But one thing is certain, this all-star protest won't be the last. What do you think? Should WNBA players get a bigger share of the pie? Should the league punish players for this protest or thank them for starting the conversation? Let us know in the comments, like if you support the movement, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories at the intersection of sports and justice.